All right, so Barcelona just drew with Real Betis.
Okay.
Not the end of the world, right?
Right.
But here's what has Barca fans, especially this YouTuber Lotfi from Barca Update buzzing.
Yeah.
It's Coach Hansi Flick getting a red card
Oh,
for
wow.
practically nothing.
Seriously?
Yeah, we're diving into Lotfi's take on this.
Okay.
And why it has him so riled up.
Lotfi, he doesn't hold back.
No.
For good reason. I
Yeah.
mean, seeing the footage, even I was surprised.
Right.
No shouting match or anything.
Yeah.
No aggressive gestures or anything like that.
Ew.
Just flick stepping a little bit outside the coach's box. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, coaches do that all the time.
That's what Lotfi's saying.
Yeah.
He even pulls up these clips of other matches,
Oh, really?
showing coaches all over Laliga doing the same thing,
Right.
and no red cards.
So why single out Flick?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the official reason?
Leaving the designated area,
Okay.
making gestures, and protesting.
Protesting what?
I don't know.
So vague.
Right.
Yeah, and as Lotfi points out,
Yeah.
that basically describes Diego Simeone's average Tuesday.
Oh, the Simeone comparison. I love it.
I know, it's great.
That guy's practically a permanent fixture just outside his box, living on the edge of getting carded.
Right.
Yet he rarely does.
So what gives?
Well, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Is there an inconsistency in how La Liga referees apply the rules?
Interesting.
Is there a different standard for someone like Flick, who's generally known for being calm and collected,
Right.
compared to, say, the more theatrical Simeone?
Lotfi certainly thinks so.
Yeah.
He's practically yelling at the screen by this point in the video.
Oh, really?
And it's hard not to get swept up in his outrage.
Yeah, and we have to consider Flick's reaction, too.
Oh, yeah, what'd it say?
Post-match.
Okay.
He's genuinely baffled.
Really?
He even claims that his outburst was directed at himself,
What?
not the ref.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That just makes this whole thing even more absurd. So Flick, losing his cool, even if it's at himself, is already out of character.
Yeah.
And then to get a red card for basically thinking too loudly outside his box?
It's crazy.
Come on.
It adds another layer of intrigue to this whole situation.
Yeah.
If Flick, someone not known for controversy, feels targeted,
Yeah,
it does make you wonder about potential bias.
it really does.
Yeah. One of Flick's key changes this season has been like a renewed emphasis on possession-based football,
Okay.
but with like a more direct approach.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he's encouraging the team to move the ball quickly, decisively,
Yeah.
looking for those killer passes that can unlock defenses.
So more tiki-taka, but with an edge.
Yeah.
I like it. So how does that translate into like actual formations and player roles?
Well, Flick has favored a 4-3-3 formation
Okay.
for most of the season, but he's also experimented with a 3-4-3 at times,
Okay.
particularly against teams that sit deep and defend.
Gotcha. So he's not afraid to mix things up tactically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that adaptability is one of his strengths.
Right.
I mean, he's constantly analyzing opponents
Yeah.
and adjusting his tactics accordingly.
Which makes his absence even more of a blow.
Precisely. Without Flick on the sidelines,
Yeah.
Barcelona's going to have to rely on their assistant coach
Yeah.
to implement the game plan.
Yeah.
And while the assistant is undoubtedly capable,
Yeah.
there's always a difference when the head coach isn't there
Of course.
to make those in-game adjustments.
Right. And what about the players themselves?
Yeah.
I mean, Lotfi touched on the psychological impact.
Yeah.
But how do you see this affecting their performance, like, on the pitch?
That's where the hangover effect comes into play.
Right.
If the players feel like they've been wronged, if they're dwelling on that red card and the perceived injustice,
Right.
it can lead to a lack of focus,
Yeah.
a drop in intensity.
Almost like they're playing with a chip on their shoulder.
Potentially, yeah.
Or maybe they'll be hesitant to, like, push the boundaries,
Right.
knowing the ref might be watching them closely.
Both are possibilities.
Yeah.
And against teams like Osasuna and Atletico,
Right.
who are known for their physicality and tactical discipline,
Uh-huh.
any hesitation or lack of focus could be costly.
Lotfi was particularly worried about the Atletico match.
Yeah.
Do you think that's justified?
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, facing Simeone's Atletico is always a challenge.
Yeah.
But without Flick there to counter Simeone's tactical nous,
Right.
it becomes even more daunting.
So we've got the tactical disadvantage of not having Flick there,
Yeah.
and then the potential psychological impact on the players.
Right.
not exactly a recipe for success.
It's not ideal, that's for sure.
No.
But let's not forget.
Yeah.
Barcelona still has a talented squad.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They have players who can step up and make a difference.
I'm thinking guys like Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Pedri Gavi.
Right.
These are world-class players who've proven they can handle the pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let's not underestimate the power of motivation.
Yeah, that's true.
This whole incident could actually galvanize the team.
Right.
Fuel their desire to prove the doubters wrong.
It's like a classic underdog story.
Yeah.
Everyone's counting them out.
Right.
But they find a way to rally
and
achieve the impossible.
It's certainly possible. I mean, we've seen teams overcome adversity and achieve great things before. And who knows, maybe this controversy will be the spark that ignites Barcelona's season.
That's the kind of optimism I like to hear.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the other big challenge looming on the horizon, the Champions League.
Right.
Lotfi was pretty concerned about the impact this whole saga could have on their European ambitions.
He's right to be concerned.
Yeah.
The Champions League is a completely different beast.
It is.
The pressure is immense. The competition is fierce.
Yeah.
And there's no room for error.
And Barcelona has high hopes this year. They've been talking about winning the whole thing.
They have the talent to do it.
Yeah.
But maintaining focus and consistency will be key.
Right.
And this red card incident with all the drama and distraction it's created could potentially derail their campaign.
So how do you see this playing out?
Yeah.
Do you think Barcelona can compartmentalize, put this whole thing behind them and focus on the challenges ahead?
It's a tough question to answer. It depends on the player's mentality.
Okay.
The coach's leadership. And, frankly, a bit of luck.
Speaking of luck.
Yeah.
Lotfi wasn't exactly optimistic about the appeal.
Right.
Do you think Barcelona has any chance of getting the decision overturned?
Honestly, based on Laliga's history, it's a long shot.
Really?
They've been notoriously reluctant to overturn refereeing decisions.
Wow.
Even in cases where there's clear evidence of a mistake.
So we're back to that lack of consistency.
It all circles back to that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Lotfi was so fired up about.
Yeah, and it raises some fundamental questions.
Yeah.
About the fairness and transparency of the league.
Which is a whole other deep dive waiting to happen.
Exactly.
But for now, let's stick with Barcelona and their immediate future.
All right, so we've got a team dealing with a controversial red card.
Right.
A suspended coach, crucial matches coming up.
Yeah.
And a Champions League campaign hanging in the balance.
So much drama.
I know, but what's the takeaway for our listener?
That's a great question.
What should they be watching for as this story unfolds? He brought up this point that's often debated among football fans.
Yeah.
You know, how much influence should referees have on the game?
Oh, that's interesting.
Is it about enforcing the rules strictly, or is there an element of managing the flow and allowing for the so-called spirit of the game?
So it's like he's saying this one red card, as questionable as it seems, is a symptom of a larger issue.
Exactly.
That maybe La Liga's approach to refereeing needs a closer look.
Yeah, and he even goes as far as to question.
Wow.
If Barcelona, despite their talent and ambition, can truly succeed if they consistently face these kinds of hurdles.
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
And a bit disheartening for Barca fans.
A little bit.
But it is a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Can any team, no matter how good, overcome a series of bad calls or inconsistent refereeing?
Right.
It starts to feel like you're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, he's tapping into a very real frustration felt by many fans.
Right.
The feeling that sometimes the outcome of a match is influenced by factors outside the control of the players and coaches.
Yeah, it raises questions about the integrity of the competition.
Absolutely.
So bringing it all back to our listener.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways from this deep dive into Lotfi's take on the Flick red card?
I think the first one is to understand that this isn't just about one isolated incident. It's about a potential pattern of inconsistent refereeing in La Liga.
Yeah.
And how that can affect a team like Barcelona, which is striving for titles on multiple fronts.
Right. And as Lotfi points out, this incident could have a ripple effect.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Impact team morale, disrupt their tactical plans, and even distract them from their Champions League goals.
The second thing we have to consider is the human element.
Okay.
We see Flick Usually a calm and composed figure,
Yeah.
completely bewildered by the red card.
Yeah.
We see Lotfi, the passionate fan, expressing his frustration and concern.
Yeah.
These emotional responses highlight the impact this incident has had on everyone involved.
It's a reminder that football is more than just tactics and strategies.
Totally.
It's a game of passion, emotion, and high stakes.
Right.
Where even seemingly small decisions can have major consequences.
And finally, this deep dive challenges us, the fans, to think critically about the game.
Yeah.
Are we seeing a fair and consistent application of the rules?
Right.
Are teams being judged equally?
It's a good question.
These are questions we should be asking ourselves as we watch the season unfold.
I love that Lotfi, through his video, is sparking this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
It's not just about ranting and raving.
Right.
It's about engaging with the complexities of the sport and challenging the status quo.
Absolutely. He leaves us with a lot to think about.
He does.
Can Barcelona overcome this setback and stay focused on their goals? Will Laliga address these concerns about refereeing consistency?
Good question.
And ultimately, how much influence should officials have on the beautiful game?
Big questions, no easy answers.
I know.
But that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. It takes us beyond the headlines and into a deeper discussion about the forces that shape the sport we love. So to our listener, we leave you with this. Keep watching.
Keep thinking.
And keep the conversation going.
What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Let us know in the comments.